When I'm old and my grasp of reality slips through my fingers, I'm still gonna hold on to one simple truth. Today we're going to talk about the first of the portable RPG adventures, Superstar Saga. I've talked about this game several times already. I just can't get this game out of my head, get it off. But it's really amazing how they crammed so much into this little GBA cartridge. The original 2003 release is still a great game. The interactive, turn-based combat, the creative, interconnected world, thoughtful. And then they did it again. In 2017, they remade the game for the 3DS, and it's pretty good. Except that side mode. It made sense to re-release Superstar Saga on 3DS. Every past game in the series was playable on the console, except the first one. Still confused about this. I fully completed the 3DS version about a year ago, but only recently started to reflect on it. I played it initially wanting a definitive way to play Superstar Saga, but definitive this certainly was not. While both games are great, calling the 3DS version definitive just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I'm gonna just go down the list of reasons why I believe the remake isn't the better version and is just an alternative way to play. Full disclosure, it is a great game and I enjoyed it. It absolutely did the original a service compared to Bowser's Inside Story 3DS. The best way I could describe my feelings about it is like when someone compares Ocarina of Time to the 3DS remake. Both are good, and both offer unique experiences. One is restricted to portable, and the other is not. It's a matter of convenience, kind of like how the original 2003 game can be played on the go or on the TV via the Game Boy player, while the remake cannot. However, I'm not going to hold that against it since it's just a hardware convenience. Going forward, this is strictly about the games themselves. Starting off, the graphics. Graphically, the new one is superior. Talking strictly art style, it's subjective. I think I prefer the brighter colors of the original. I don't know if it's just because of my color blindness, but I tend to prefer brighter, sometimes even tackier colors. The new sophisticated art styles, colors, shading, lighting, etc. is all kind of lost on me because of it. The older also feels more cartoony, which I kind of prefer. Speaking of art style, some of the character sprites and design changes are inferior in my opinion. Maybe it's just a bad take, but I kind of like how ambiguous some of these older sprites are. A lot of the original's artistic charm is lost, but not to the blame of the graphical update. These are strictly artistic choices. Let's start small with Troopies. Kinda a nitpick on my end. Only difference is they became bipedal. I kinda had this headcanon that the Bean Bean Kingdom is where the original Shell Creepers came from, because these Koopas were quadruped. Oh well. Hammer Bros. The originals had this chunky shape with soulless, mean-looking eyes with no pupils. It was very stylized compared to the classic Hammer Bro design they replaced it with. For comparison, look at Chomp Bros. They kept that style in the remake with the wide eyes and stuff, but put it next to the new Hammer Bros, and it looks like they're from two completely different games. Like, I don't understand the need to sanitize one design when you aren't going to sanitize the other designs that are very clearly based off of it. And also, why even do that in the first place? We already know this guy. I want to know this guy. Bink. Need I say more? Look at this. We lost Dry Donkey. And for what reason? Nintendo owns Donkey Kong, and they're worried kids will have nightmares about this? I know I would. It made sense. It's a barrel minigame. Speaking of minigames, here comes the single most targeted cheap shot in the whole remake. Now, why do so many people care about this inclusion? Well, have you seen my channel? This was back when Nintendo and Square weren't as friendly as they are today. It really shouldn't be that big a deal, but considering that Square Enix even got a credit in the original, I guess it kind of seemed like a big deal to Nintendo. Also no Psycho Kamek, but Dr. Toadley is inoffensive. Okay, this next one gets me so mad for some reason. The different Toad shapes are gone and replaced with generic Toad designs. It's kind of like the sticker star effect. Running away doesn't penalize you anymore. For a game that's already fairly easy, this seemed rather pointless. The Bros moves, I don't like how easy they are to perform in the remake. And some of the advanced or super variants are different and not as interesting, like Fire Bros. Advanced Chopper and Knockback can't be done infinitely anymore. What's also more fun is being able to choose either advanced or regular on the fly, and not prior to the attack selection. But maybe that's just me. The sound effects for the super moves are also not as exciting. I can't think of a word for this actually. Compare Knockback between the two games. Lastly, that sub-game. Sometimes I forget the original also has a sub-game, and it was way better. Sure, it's just an updated Mario Bros. Game, and it came with every Super Mario Advance port. And unless you have the original GBA release, you can't do the multiplayer, but that aspect alone already makes it better than the Minion subquest. And the original has co-op. Sure, you could just emulate it the same way by binding two controllers to the emulator, but there's a charm to playing it on the original Game Boy player. Technically, you can do the same with Partners in Time and Bowser's Inside Story via emulation. Wait, that's actually a really good idea. And that's about it.